The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Wednesday after the three-ring circus.
Three-ring circus is an understatement.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you. We have two articles. City Council votes temporarily remove. I think everybody, almost anybody that was in the city that's unaware of what happened last night or didn't watch it, I think they're in the minority. So I'm not going to get into the specifics of this initial article because we know they removed them. But the second article, that was by Joe Good, but the second article by Herald News staff, to me, it's not really well done. They gave Steve Camara also cited Turner versus City of Boston case involving in 2008. And I'm going to get to that, but first, because I'm so upset with that, but I'm even more upset, I think we need to remember what today is. It's the 18th anniversary of September 11th. So
definitely.
Just remember what our nation went through, what our first responders went through, and give it a moment of your time. But yesterday was a fiasco, and it gave, anybody who watches that, and it's already on YouTube, it'll give us another black eye. I mean, they're going to look at the intelligence of the people in the city. Some of the things that were said there were just totally bizarre. But this Turner versus the City of Boston, Sean Kadim at length said after Steve Camara cited this with his quote, and it's great. It's difficult to do the hard thing. Ironic that John Kennedy, a war hero, is his idol. The irony is just amazing. But John Kennedy also said that what you do as a politician, history will judge whether you're a politician or a statesman. And when you vote no on everything that has to do with you and the mayor, including Purchase Street, and then you vote yes on something that's totally unrelated, you're kind of showing your political leanings. But Sean Kadim made it very clear that this case may not be precedent. So let me explain that to a degree to people, if you don't know. Everybody thinks, oh, they got a case. Well, do you remember, CJ, when we had the Dominion case?
Yep.
And our illustrious corporation counsel and her assistant went before the council and said, we're going to win this case. We have case law. Did they win the case?
No.
Oh, well. I think Sean...
And if you remember correctly, she goes, I never got the notices from the court. And what did I do sitting in the city council chamber?
Like in 12 seconds, you had it on your phone and we were reading it. So, yeah, we've said that before on the show. But, I think a lot of people misunderstand this. It's a very that's why we have lawyers, which is unfortunate, that there are a lot of very specific things when they deal, everything is up to interpretation. This case, and I believe I said it before Kadim because I didn't have a chance to research it, Kadim basically said it doesn't apply, and he expanded on why. And a lot of people don't understand this. This councilor prevailed because there was no city ordinance or charter provision that allowed the legislative body to remove him. So the court said, in absence of any legal grounds, what you did wasn't legal. There's nothing on a local level that gives you the power to remove them. And if you don't have the power, it reverts over to the existing law, which is the people elected him, now the people have to remove him. And so shame on Steve Camara, because there's only two reasons he could have done that. One, he wanted to mislead the public and support his position. Or secondly, he was ignorant of the fact that you have to look at a very specific set of circumstances. I will give you an example that impacted the entire state. Many years ago, every firefighter or police officer who had a heart attack on or off duty was immediately put on injured on duty status because of the presumptive law that says that they get heart disease at 3 times the rate of the normal population. However, that statute is for retirement purposes. The statute that covers fire and police is 111F, and that statute clearly states that the injury has to be incurred in the direct performance of your duty. So in other words, a police officer would have to be on duty performing his job, not in a coffee shop, but patrolling or whatever, or trying to stop a bank robbery, and a firefighter would have to be doing firefighter duties or be fighting a fire. But it was fundamentally done throughout the state because of the presumptive nature. And then one city or town, I believe it was a town, and it's a long time ago, because the thing spread like wildfire. The town had a firefighter a police officer, I'm sorry. Police officer who had a heart attack when he was off duty. And I don't know whether this guy politically fit in. They decided to change it. So they said, no, we're not going to put him on injured on duty. He has to go out on regular sick leave. And I don't know the circumstance of that case. He could have had a heart attack 15 minutes after he left duty, and which can sometimes happen because of but it's irrelevant. What they said was, we're not going to put him on injured on duty. We're going to put him on regular sick leave. And of course, it went to court. And it went all the way to the Supreme Judicial Court of this state. And you know what the court said? They tried the precedent. They said there's no contract language, which parallels with there's no city ordinance. And there's nothing in your charter, which is like there's nothing in your collective bargaining agreement that says you will be put on injured on duty if you sustain a heart attack. If you had that, they would be mandated to put you on injured on duty. But since you don't, we go back to the law. We're not going to deal with your contract. We're going to deal with what's left, the law. And the law says that you have to be injured in the line to get 111F. It has to be in a direct performance of your duty. Now, if you have a severe enough heart attack to retire, then that law that says that because of the heart disease and the fact that firefighters, that law was adjudicated a long time ago, that it is presumed to be job related, and you can get a service-connected disability because of the heart attack. But you can't be put on injured on duty unless you have it in a direct, because the court went to the law. That's why what Sean Kadim says makes far more sense than what Steve Camara said. And this article doesn't mention anything about the rebuttal. It almost looks like they're trying to give Steve Camara a platform to try to justify Jasiel's actions. So I had to get that one out of the way immediately, because that's the thing that really bothered me the most. I don't care that Jasiel people went up there and said people have done worse. Well, I don't know, CJ. I've got a pretty damn good memory, and I know you got a pretty good memory. You've been around a long time, and I have. Have we ever had any city official on any level, let alone the mayor, that had 24 federal indictments levied against him?
No, we never have, actually. And the funny thing is, there's always been rumors. Remember, how many times have we heard rumors? You know, oh, the feds are coming down for him. The feds are coming down for her. We hear that all the time. But this was the first time that the rumors became fact.
And the irony of the thing that gives Fall River a black eye, because this guy was standing up and he was banging on the table, and it's just because you want to, he's got a better job than you. Most of those people actually have pretty damn good jobs.
Right.
They don't need to be mayor. They could have run for mayor. They could have run in a recall. But they didn't. So, I mean, the absurdity, you listen to stuff like that, it's like they have no, they're so myopic. It's like the guy that worries about somebody, when they used to worry about somebody getting a block of welfare cheese, and they didn't care if the government was paying $250 for a $12 toilet seat. So this is the myopic perception, and it shows that you can't see the forest for the tree. He has disciples. But when we see things like this, there are people that have done worse. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's been people that had 50 federal indictments, maybe 125 federal indictments if they were a mafia head. But does that make it right? The last time I checked, 2 wrongs do not make a right. And the thing that was really lost that entire day, that entire evening in that meeting was, because they kept saying, well, he's doing his job, blah, blah, blah. You look at the damage he's already caused. The lieutenant governor of Rhode Island has called everybody in the city of Fall River an idiot for re-electing him. And guess what? After looking at some of the people that presented at that council meeting, he's got some pretty good evidence to buttress his case. But the reality is, look what this mayor has done. He cannot perform to do. Who will come anywhere near this city? People, as we said before, it is a situation where you cannot run a daycare center if charges have been levied against you as a pedophile. You will be removed. If you're not removed, the people who are stockholders will be removed. Or if you own the daycare center, all the parents will take their children out of the daycare center, and you will be out of business.
And the state may suspend your license to run that daycare center.
But we seem to think that a mayor can be a criminal and still execute the duties of his office. Maybe you can be a plumber and have 25 indictments because you're going to go fix somebody's. But there are certain jobs, as we've said before, that the perception of the individual in the job, the character of the individual in the job, is just as important as the performance of their duties, because he is the face of Fall River. And look at the damage he's caused. So I had to get that.
But I think more damage is being caused by his supporters.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he goes out before the city council meeting yesterday. He's out on the street with them as they're holding signs to re-elect Jasiel Correia. Some little girl gave him a flower. What kind of message are these people sending out to their children? And then you got people who turn around and say, oh, well, Cliff Ponte wants to be mayor. Cliff Ponte wants to be mayor. Cliff Ponte doesn't want to be mayor. He has a very successful real estate company. It's huge.
Very successful.
They just bought a whole building on Plymouth Avenue. The signs are going up. I mean, they're going to move from Pleasant Street. I mean, he makes more money in real estate than he ever make as mayor.
Look, he makes more money in a week than he'll make as a mayor for the year.
Right.
And he chose not to run. He could have run.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And he said that. And you're right, CJ. But as you said, that had to be orchestrated.
Of course.
Everything's orchestrated because it wasn't like a person who has been charged with 24 serious. We're talking about extortion, bribery. I mean, I hate to say it, Leo Pelley didn't articulate it very well, but yeah, he makes Buddy Cianci look like a priest.
Yeah.
I mean, so you look at this, and I looked at the video, and I was getting nauseous. It's like a rock star. He's coming out. People are taking selfies with him. And people are handing him flowers, and people are hugging him, running over and giving him a hug because the cameras were there. I mean, listen, I can see you saying, look, and I think that a few of the councilors said it right. You know, we're not convicting you yet. We hope you do well. We hope you're innocent. But the reality is, you are doing damage to this community, and anybody who can't see that, as the last citizens input presenter said, if you can't see that, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
If you can't understand why he can't perform his duties. He said in his letter to Cliff Ponte that he can't do his duty. He wants the council to co-sign everything. That's not even legal. They're the legislative branch. He can't have them executing duties of the executive branch. That's ridiculous. That's a de facto admission that he can't do the job.
Exactly. Exactly. And, you know, the scary part about it all is this mayor, and I hate even using that term, but he is an arrogant SOB. He just doesn't get it. I think he believes that by stepping down, he's conceding to failure or something. Or maybe he's just keeping the job because he has to have the job, otherwise he's violating his bail. I mean, there could be a number of reasons why. And, you know, self-preservation is an important thing. But at the same time, how can you sit there and sit across the table from a U.S. senator or a U.S. congressman talking about the need for grant money for something when you can't even go to Washington to see them because you can't leave Mass or Rhode Island?
And who, by the way, already condemned you and said you should step down.
Exactly.
You're sitting across from someone who said you should leave, and justifiably so. But you're right. I mean, you know, this is, it is just crazy. But I think Brad Kilby really hit a very, very good point. And I know that he's either, I don't know whether it's arrogance or just total, he just says, look, I'm going to go to jail anyway, so I'm going to stay and I'm going to stay here as long as possible and create as much, because he can't think that staying in office is like, but probably his supporters or his disciples, because they're more like John, it's more like Jamestown and John.
They're acolytes.
Yeah, the acolytes. That would be that would be a better description. There is acolytes. But I think Brad Kilby, who is an attorney and who deals with court issues, he said something extremely germane when he told him, man, step away. Step away. Humility can go a long way. Humility can go a long way in a court, especially during sentencing, because he's seen that.
Right.
Look at even with the issue that we're dealing with these people that bribe people to get their kids in college. The one who made the plea deal, she was doing mea culpas. They're going to treat her a lot better than the one who's going to drag.
As a matter of fact, they're talking about giving her 1 month in jail.
Yep,
1 month
in jail.
Okay, as opposed to 5 years or more.
So, you know.
And this is the thing that this mayor doesn't understand. I mean, he's going to go to court. Number one, he's already ripped apart the U.S. attorney at every chance he's gotten. He's ripped apart the entire court process. He has thumbed his nose at the charges, the case, the court, the U.S. attorney. If you're the judge sitting on the bench and you're going to go, this little SOB thought he had it all good, are you going to give him 20 to 25, or are you going to give him 2 to 2.5? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you look at the plea deal. I mean, Hebert admitted to these things. He's paying money back. He's looking at 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Supervised probation.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
And Hill Camara's looking at 6. So humility is some, but it seems that he doesn't. And I really have a difficult time with, you know, his assertions that he's not guilty of anything. 24, if you listen to him, it's almost like he's never done anything wrong in his life, because everything he does is right. And if that's the case, CJ, I'll say it right here on the air. If he's right, I'm going to call the Pope and ask him to put him in for sainthood. Because I don't know any of us that's ever done everything right. You've never done anything in your life that you really shouldn't have done. I mean, if you listen to him, I'm innocent, I'm not going to abandon the city. You're destroying the city. The image we have, we're international. We might be interstellar. If there's life forms in the universe, they're probably watching that council meeting right now.
They're probably sitting there going, I told you we should have bombed that city a long time ago. We should just take the ray guns and melt Fall River right off the map.
And that's the problem. The thing that's creating the ongoing thing, and I think Cliff Ponte said at the end, this could all stop. The insanity could stop if he just stepped down. If he did what he should have done when the first charges came down. And nobody would have, I would have thought more highly. And I think a lot of people who don't support him, even if they believe he's guilty, would have supported and saying, well, at least he had enough character, he had enough intelligence to step away, let the city's business go on, bring confidence back to the way the city does.
It's going to be a long time before confidence comes up. I mean, look at what the state representatives just did. They've asked the Cannabis Control Commission to cease all marijuana licenses for Fall River, to suspend them for now. Okay? And you've got I think you've got two companies which already have licenses. Northeast Alternatives up at the Rhode Island line, and there's another one, I think, down on Weaver Street. And the question is now, there's a cloud over those licenses. Did they pay for them? Did they pay the mayor for letters of non-opposition?
Did they pay? Yeah.
I know. And if they did, then their license should be taken away. Suspend their license, and that's it. They're out of business. And that's a big question that people are asking.
And it doesn't stop there. If we would have left the first time, we wouldn't be here. Now, it's not only that, it's every bid or lack thereof bid process. Every board that he appointed and any action they took should and could be investigated.
And look, they called up
everything they've done, every permit they've issued. Any board that's appointed by the mayor is now suspect. And
the city council called that out last night. They said, look at the liquor licenses that have been issued, the licenses that have been issued, the lease that was issued on the city pier. Okay, he wanted the mayor person, hand-chose person, his girlfriend's family, wanted to put in some money, but they wanted the city to put in some money to support their business. And they had an agreement with the EPA to not have that for business, but to have it for maritime activities only. Well, our agreements don't mean anything? I guess if you're working with your girlfriend's family, it doesn't mean anything because you want your nookie on the side.
Yeah, but as I said, we get down to the bottom line. What's mind-boggling, and especially when you watch that meeting and you watch the his supporters, it's like a rock star, somebody with these charges. Not, hey, we support you, but you have to vindicate yourself. And the reality is that they want him to continue as mayor. That's what's mind-boggling, because anybody that can't see that you are irreparably damaged when charges like this hang over your head. This isn't, using a couple of taxpayer dollars in a strip club.
Right.
We're talking about extortion, bribery. I mean, these are serious federal charges. And anybody, he's been condemned by the lieutenant governor of Rhode Island. He's been condemned by senators, congressmen.
Our own governor.
He's been other politicians. That's bad when they start throwing rocks, because none of them are really. But the fact is, what disturbs me though is the people in this city that can't get the fact that this is a different type of job. The first thing they say when a police officer does something wrong off the job, or a firefighter, well, something's got to be done about him, even though it had nothing to do with the performance of his duty. Why? And why do they have in those departments, uniform departments, same charges that can be levied in the military? Conduct unbecoming, conduct prejudicial to good order. You can be disciplined for something that has nothing to do with your job. Why? Because of it casts a cloud over the organization you represent when you put those uniforms on. Well, the mayor doesn't wear a uniform, but he wears $600 shoes and a $2,000 suit. But his uniform, he represents the city of Fall River. You cannot be facing charges like this and be effective. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And if you can't figure that out, I really encourage you to seek counseling.
I so love that. I really do.
But, you know, it's all over YouTube.
Yep, it is.
Excerpts, the full council meeting, I believe. I mean, I'm getting calls from people I haven't heard from, and I don't know how long that I knew from the unit, from other areas, and saying, you know, I had somebody from Boston call me the other day, and they said, what the hell is going on down there?
That's the problem. Nobody knows what's going on down here.
No, I do. I gave the answer. I said, this is the Riv. I said, remember where you're calling. You're not calling Newton or Wellesley. You're calling Fall River.
A third world city.
A third world city without the palm trees.
That's right.
You know, a destitute city. And it's sad because we wonder why we can't move forward. I mean, his people are fighting tooth and nail to keep someone who is just destroying the city. Like you said, what business? I believe Kyle Hetzler said he got a call from some people saying, you know, how can you entice a business? You want to come to Fall River? Why? How much is the mayor going to ask me to kick back if I go to Fall River?
Right.
I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's, you know, just when I thought I've seen it all, I realize I haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
That's it.
So that's why I love living in Fall River.
But I'll tell you, there's a short period of time that we have here, 6 days for the primary. 6 days. And odds are, I will tell you now, Jasiel Correia will probably make it through the primary because his supporters, his acolytes, don't see anything wrong. They don't see that he's done anything wrong.
Oh, no, even the ones who do, CJ, like the guy said, but other people have done worse.
Right.
So, because two wrongs make a right.
Yep. And the thing is that the only way he's not going to make it through the primary is if people come out and support Erica Scott Pacheco, who, by the way, will be on the show on Friday. And I'm not endorsing Erica Scott Pacheco. I'm just stating a fact here. She would have to carry a good chunk of votes in the primary, which probably won't happen. I mean, if she takes 5,000, 6,000 votes, I'd be surprised. But she may take more because of what's happened.
Well, you know, I don't hate to say it. It's my feeling. I really do hope he doesn't make it through the primary because it's another black eye for Fall River. We're already being condemned because he got reelected in a recall, but that was a plurality vote.
Which, by the way, Steve Kamara's proposed new charter does not address the errors in the recall provision.
That's right. Almost everything Steve said was either inaccurate or flat out wrong. And I will not be here Friday. I really wanted to be here because I like to be.
You like to be with the candidates.
But I have a personal thing that I can't change, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But hey, I will see you on Monday. CJ and Erica Scott Pacheco will see you on Friday. Please tune in, and please get out to vote.
Definitely get out to vote, people. And we're going to remind you on Monday. And it should be an interesting show on Friday because we're going to have a lot more about this whole city council meeting to talk about, as well as what Erica's position is going to be.
And remember this. 2 wrongs do not make a right.
That's
but
true.
3 rights make a left.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching.